Yeah, it's a beautiful evening. You know, I'm gonna take a little time out from kicking it about Kundalini and convincing to talk about the gods for a minute. You know, there is the gods. One thing we don't do is, you hear me, I rep mostly God, and we talking a lot to try to make understanding of what this Christ energy is, or the etherical energy as we call it, and the sun and the light and all that. But you know, the gods is everything too. It's important to realize it's just not that. And why the gods? Well, you know, being a royal family, we the royal family. When you saying you the royal family, it's like you saying you the soul family. You know, the soul family isn't part of creation itself in its whole. It's like you got matter and you got spirit. Spirit and matter here. Matter makes up the substances, with spirit being the data to provide the substances. So when you an indigo, a king, the purple family, the royal line, those you're dealing with divine things, higher forces. Forces is the key when we're talking about the gods. The gods is forces. You have two type of forces. We call them negative and positive energy. You know, these gods is the same gods I'm referring to when we talking about the Egyptian gods, the Sumerian gods, the Chaldean gods, Babylonian gods, Persian gods, the Indian gods. It doesn't matter what culture you're, it's the same gods. So the thing to this now, when I'm saying they're forces, that's what they are. They're all different forces, but they was personified and deified. The trick to this, when I'm saying they're forces, this is what you're more of an antenna, and you're gonna feel the effects of the forces. These is like the people of matter, where now you have the purple family, the royal family. They see them because they get a psychic connection or their kundalini activate. That's different. You see, one help the other. They work together. That's why you mostly will see a soulless with a one with a soul. And together it's like the yin and yang. They balance each other energy out. For some reason, it's like you always be attracted to the shit that ain't good for you. You know what I'm saying? And the other way around. The bad motherfucker always want the good. You know, so well, on that note, these two energies, they coexist together. It's the same like the yin and yang sign with white and black. You look at our color levels in our skin, it's the darkest is the black and the lightest is the white as far as reference to skin colors, how we look at it, because you know I don't kick it in those type of ways. But in this symbology of it, you get to understand those is two the opposites. If you look, they're always at war between those two because they are on the opposite sides of the spectrum to make like a battery polarity work, which is our existence. So we're talking about the gods, forces. It's very important to realize that they're here. They play a very important role in our existence. So we're the more of an antenna, you know, a biological antenna. You know, that's why you watch. I was watching it about Schumann. Schumann that made up the Schumann resonance, the frequency of the universe. Well, you know, in his research, I told you he put some people in a lead box and buried them in the earth, and they became unconscious, sick. They couldn't actually function. So you get to realize you're more of an antenna, and the air has a lot to do with your existence. So, you know, this is not about that. We're repping the gods here. So, when we talking angels, which is the new term for the gods. Back when they had the gods, they didn't have the term angels. When the god's name is missing, angels popped up. So, you know, they have their own little sneaky ways of putting things in there. So now we're talking about the gods. Now that we're talking about the gods and we're talking about forces, you have forces that work upon your body. Consider those the good gods. This will give you love, Eros, you know, Aphrodite, whatever you want to call it, love, compassion, prudence, hate, anger, Those will be the dragon, the seven-headed dragon, the one that's on you that you have to get off of you for you to ascend. So these forces now, Medusa, Pan, all of them play out a role upon how you act. Like, besides, say, your education, your culture, say you just a natural soul and you just came here without nobody indoctrinating you to no type of system. Your job would have just been to figure out why you came here. Who are you? Why are you here? And in it, you'll find that these forces is actually the forces that act upon you, and you're not really you yet. And so you would have been on a journey like how you see from Tarzan or the new Moji movie on Netflix, that the animals raise him, and then he learns that he's a human being and he leaves the animal world. Well, those animals is the spirits. Those is what's on your body. Those is the gods. But they're not bad and they're not good. They're forces that make the world work. So the ones we would call negative forces will be nature, like the dragon. The dragon, for instance, is the number one force. Y'all see it in the clouds. It's actually here. It's air. With Nuit is darkness, the triple darkness. And you got Shu, who's the air spirit. Lilith is also the wind now. All of these is forces that we actually interact with. Do you hear the water? The water is Leviathan. That's the hissing. You know what I'm saying? So you got to realize their part. The astral world is the clouds. All the clouds is the astral world. The astral world flow through your whole body because the astral world is a part of God. All this comes into play as you read in John 14. He tells you, I'm in the Father and the Father is in me. You're in something and they're both in you. And so you're them. So you can't look for them coming or anything like that. So I'm just letting you know that's how it works for the matrix system. I don't know what y'all was taught in school or science, but this is just from observation. We're not dealing with anything, like I said, with Kundalini. I'm just telling you straight up what it is. We're having a little talk. So I want to give thanks to the gods. But for you to understand who they are, you have to make sense out of it for you so you know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm breaking it down to you so that you get a general understanding. Like, what are you talking about, these gods? This is pagan. Ain't nothing pagan about no gods. You got to realize, break everything down into its proper compound. Wind, rain, breeze, hot, cold, dry. Water isn't wet. Wet is a different substance. It's the spirit that hovered over the water. When something is wet, then it's different. A woman with a dry vagina is not the same woman when her vagina is wet. Get it? Good. All right, so now on that note now, these is the gods, forces that acts upon what's called your endocrinology system, or what's known as your organs. They work through your five senses. So they're basically sensations for you. The sensations is vibration and oscillation. Vibration, oscillation, whichever way you want to look at it, they're going in many directions to form subatomic particles or monatomic particles. You see them in your perception because it's all vibration. You're not actually seeing nothing here. If you don't know, study the law of Einstein's law of theory of relativity, whatever you call that word. Because, you know, he said that nothing is really solid. It's all spaced out. So if everything is spaced out, what's making our reality hold together? And they call that the God particle. And so that's what they're trying to tap into with CERN. But I'm giving you a general understanding of how everything really works. You know, forget about what they tell you in science books and all that. This is the truth. So now know that the gods is the forces, and you're just like a biological antenna, and they act out on you. That's Kundalini coming to give you character, a personality. That's the one that sits on your pineal. But it always constantly changes. It never stays the same, because you can look at a child and look at you as an adult. That's two different people. So you always got constantly people changing at your pineal, with the main one that stay when you go into puberty. That's the real you, the character you, or whatever. But you were sent here with a bunch of spirits that's all around you. There's forces that make you do and compel you to do what you do. These is the gods. Now, seers could see them. If you're a seer, you're going to see all of this. You're not going to just be taking everything what I'm saying for face value. You will have actually relationships with all of this stuff. And so, being that you could do that, it's make this a little bit easier because you will see these are some creatures and ugly looking beings. Most of them travel not in the air because it's not safe. So they travel within some type of containment. With these containments is dragon looking things, lizard looking things, entities and creature looking things, tigers, black panthers, lions, hyenas, monkeys, gorillas. All of that got the Anu in them, Horus, Vishnu. They ride in them. They don't ride in the air like you think, and they don't just pop up and disappear and then pop up over here. It don't work like that either. They actually have a whole system and they work. Now, to make this make a little bit more sense of why we have to give honor to them and to make you understand them, as you remember the old Genesis 666 story of the angels coming and having sex with human beings. Well, that's how the demons come around, the demions. Now, they wind up having to be closest to us. They're like, we got the atmosphere and then the lithosphere. You could say they're the atmosphere, the air, but also the lithosphere. So they govern whatever's lower under there. We're the bottom. We're the root of everything. So we're the lowest thing. So they're mad that they have to even interact with us for them up here. If he wants to send a command, it has to go down through the first people is the seraphims. The seraphims, y'all got to understand, is God's protection. Y'all going to see the dragon. It's going nowhere ever. You can't kill it. You can't die. That's his line of defense. He has many lines of defense because we're evolving. We're being more cunning. And all whatever we believe is godly is really the devil. And what we believe is the devil is really godly. So he's protected himself from y'all already. Only those that could take it, like how Paul said you have to be able to eat meat, and why Jesus said he talks in mysteries, because y'all can't take the truth. You understand what I'm saying? But you'll get the truth if you understand when he tell Paul or whatever, Peter, get behind me, Satan. How could he be Satan? And then he was talking to Satan about in another place where he's giving them the world and the world could be his. You got to understand, this is a personal experience inside of him, an inner psychic thing. It's not nothing to do with the outside. The world is never going to face dissolution. And when the seals is unlocked, the world isn't going to change. The dragon isn't coming to see you. It's coming to see a personal you only. If you do it, if you open your chakras. That's what make it, a lot of people going to the mental institute and going through a lot of things mentally because it didn't change the whole world as they thought. Like some people like David Koresh and the one who went to the island and took all the people with him and had that cult and then thinking that the world was going to end or, hello, how you doing? God is supposed to be coming and whatnot. That's what that's chakra opening. And you see, that's what happens if you're not educated right, if you're not intellect, or if you don't have what's called a gnosis. Gnosis is intellect, but not the intellect of books. Sense intellect, the sense forces, and know what they are. Some of the greatest people who knew these things was the saints. Saints, judges, lawyers, all of them, you be telling them you're innocent, you're guilty, they could sense everything already. You don't have to tell them. The judge sense you already. A lot of people get exonerated. Some people, they slide under the table because they could sense something. But when you try and you talk, no, it's not going to work. Our mouths render us nothing but egotistical talk. You better off sending a force out and let that force do the will for you than you trying to talk it out. Well, anyway, this is about the gods. So I'm giving you now how these forces work. But we're talking about the dragons as the main protector of God himself. Because if y'all watched the video on the Sumerian cosmology, I gave y'all the Coburn version of the Bible, which is the Egyptian Bible. But it was stolen. If you want the Egyptian Bible, y'all go to the Celtics. They got it as the Coburn Bible. It's the actual Egyptian Bible. I can verify it from experience. Read it and saw it. But they stole it at the Abbey Roads. Y'all hear the story if you saw the video. But the first thing that God let out on the people when they wasn't doing right is the dragon. So that's his thing. The same thing in Revelation. When that seventh seal open, what comes first? The dragon. The dragon is the key to this. You understand? If you look at medieval drawing, pay attention. In the circles upon circles upon circles, the dragon is always in all the circles. The same thing in Egyptian art. He goes through all the different dimensions. He's the portal. So that just telling you the portal is open. Your psychic connection is open. So we have to give the dragon his props. He's in you sleeping. That's Kundalini. The coiled up snake that's at the bottom or the root of your spine, which is also your soul. You understand? That's why they say your soul is in the ass, or Jesus ride the donkey and comes up on the ass. All of this is the same thing. Jacob wrestling on the ladder or whatever is your spine. He's wrestling with his inner self. It's changing. He has to kill himself. That's another story, man. You know, I was writing this rap messing with my neighbor called Kill Yourself, and it got too real for me, man. Very real. Yeah, so you gotta be careful out here. These guys tell you to dissolution yourself and come back a new you, learning this information and reconfiguring yourself towards it. Because if not, inwardly you're gonna experience this new age with the stars. The stars is more different. If you look 3 years ago, the alignment in the sky, the stars was different. You can see where the Big Dipper is, this was at. It's a whole new alignment right now. We're in a different zodiac. And so these stars is bigger, it's heavier, like dwarf stars. So they have a more profound effect on our chromosomes. And so we having a change, especially, you know, melanated people. We're going through a psychic connection. And a lot of us is being called into what I call the underworld, or what Sir Arthur Woodruff called a Kundalini awakening. So with your Kundalini awakening, Jesus like being twice born, and you get to see now with your other eyes, so you see the gods. And so these are the gods that I'm talking about. The gods is forces. And when you awaken, it's like when you saw the book, the e-book that I did on the Celestine prophecies, you see how they was talking about people going to be able to see energy or whatever. Well, that's what it was meaning. They knew already with the Aquarian age coming, the stars density is going to make all these people see the forces that make this world come together, or morph matter. They said we only see 0.2% of matter, so you get to see that out of a whole basketball, you're only seeing 0.2% of it, because you have to see the whole matter to see it, which is from the radio spectrum all the way up to the gamma spectrum, or the ultraviolet and infrared. We'll be able to see in those, you know, so I'm just letting you understand. So the gods now, being that they're the forces that act upon us, they're the ones who give us love, hate, anger. And so with all of this, you talking to me? Oh, okay. Anyway, so with all these feelings of love, hate, anger, you get to see that it's not just forces that we feel, they're actually entities, beings that have a actual control of us, with the demions at that lower hierarchy that is giving the orders from the hierarchy up, and the angelic ones, the ones who had sex with the humans, is actually the ones over them as their overseers. You could say it's really four of them that controls this whole situation that we're in. And depending on your situation, they'll come at within 1/1,000,000th of the danger of the second. That's how they work. They don't come when you're scared. They come when action is going to take place. So somehow you get out of it, and that's when they act. But in it, like, your job is to learn this, to be a part of this, because you have protection, which is a gatekeeper. Look at the gatekeeper as the Michael Jackson Dangerous album cover. Where you see that picture with the crown, yeah, that's actually what you have to get. You get your crown. Once you get your crown from coming out your crown or your chakras, that's when you will see that. That's why you see a lot of people have the beads or the genetic sign, which is actually the crown too. Once you get your crown, then you start making connection with the higher beings, and they come back to you as you had dead cells. Your cells wasn't alive. The etheric energy now comes over you and brings them back on you, and then now your will start having more effect on life, and so you have a more mystical experience taking place all the time, or intuitions and coincidences aligning themselves for you, which is the law of attraction. So all of this comes from what we call the gods. But if I was to just put it in a modern term, this would be witchcraft, black left hand path, and all this other stuff. Well, it's not. It's actually was just taken out of society so that somebody could dominate us and tell us what to do. And so we would just be subservient to them. And then eventually we depended so much on whatever it is, or like the laziness of actually not trying to survive on our own. We just gave into the system and just lived in the comfort zone of our life until something make us have these awakening, these evolution pops, these kundalini things. And so for me, that's what brought about all this experience and now knowing about the gods and everything. And one thing, a lot of people are searching for the truth. Are we the gods? You hear Bobby Hammett say it all the time. Yes, we're the gods. Of course we're the gods. We came in different cycles. Every generation of gods come with their own music. Where a different new music came. Like when the gods from my era came, we came with hip hop, rap music. There was no scratching, no break dancing, no graffiti. We brought that to the table. So that's a new set of guys. We brought Ebonics, or the funny language, the set y'all living in now, the clothes y'all wearing. Everything was brought to you by a group of guys that was sent here to do something. A lot of them fell short, got into drugs. That's the Fed's job. The Feds and CIA, they know the situation, so they always got some type of drug or some type of laptop or tablet to stop the guys from ascending, something to distract them. That always been around since they found out that this prophecy was coming through. It's millions of prophecies, and they collected all of them, and it was saying some gods is coming. And so that's a damn fact. And then the next generation, those gods that did the hip hop was the light god, light being gods. I tell you, it's two sides. There's two demions, the forces. The other side now is here now. They just came. This is what's called trap music. Trap music and the way they talking and the whoop whoop and all that craziness. That's another set from the new generation of guys that's here now. But you see, that's the demonic side. The demon side now, it's nothing wrong with it. You're the demon side, I'm the demon side. We all demons and we all gods. We the angels, we the seraphims, we the cherubs, and in between, so many. So you got to understand, that's why we got to respect the gods. I just wanted to give you a little taste of that. Those I could make into encyclopedias on that subject alone, of just the different gods that is on us. So as all these gods go back to yourselves and you become united with them, you go through different emotional states. Some of them gonna make you cry, happy, joyous. You're just gonna feel these things for no reason. But it's part of the process of you awakening, your ascension, you coming back to the reality that you're not just, like Neo or Thomas Anderson working at the office doing this. It's more to you. Once you realize it's more to you, then they be able to put everything into perspective. As you can see in the background, he's showing the teeth. Look at him. He's there with his one eye and he got his teeth showing like a snarling, smirking. Yeah, that's my homeboy right there. You see him? He's gonna turn into something intelligent. Just watch the eye at the top. You see that eye all the way up here, like a TV screen now? Tell you, this how the TV screen come in when I'm watching it. Just in the air, I get this TV screen right there. I don't know if I'm seeing the same thing, but I'm gonna hold it there, let it ride out. It's gonna turn into lips now. It's like these is lips, and this is also a city, and I ride straight through the middle of right here and travel. As you do, these turns into faces and people. You see the two boys right here. But anyway, now it forms the genetic code too. See this? It's like the S, half of the sign. You see the little faces coming in right here now. Yeah. All of this is brought to you by the gods. So, and then you just see everything. You continue the story. That's the gods right there, as a matter of fact. Look. I'm there talking about them. That's them. Showing them right there in the background. You see it? Let me interact with them a little. Alright. Let's get back to what we're talking about to end this off and get this on a 360. So, these forces that act up on you now, they have different levels to them. With, like I said, the dragon being the highest level. The dragon is God's protection. With them is the four horsemen. These is also with Metatron. You know, when you hear that part in Revelation, it's dead real. And that's your job to make it up there. It's no one person. It's no one you that got the job. If you was to go up there, you would probably be one cell on the skin. That's it. You participate. This is synchronicity. It's nothing for no selfish reason. Don't even think you know what's the agenda, the cause, why you're here. You don't, because this is still evolving, it's still building. So for us to be like, you know, taking the Bible and the finale is the world is ending and God coming, Jesus, that's a fantasy, that's a fairy tale. But you can observe and experience what is going on in there for yourself, because everything that's written in there, it actually, they took it out of you and just personified it. You only can see it from internally. And no matter how many times you was on this earth and look back and look back and look back, you'll never find it on the physical earth, because it was never on the physical plane. It was always on an ethereal astral plane. But you see, the thing is, a lot of people lost a lot of organs and a lot of senses, so they can't see the rest of this world. It's more in front of us, and that's why the Egyptians saw it. They wasn't shooting to another dimension and going. It's right here in front of us. It's parallels upon parallels. It's colors, it's bands, and dimensions is in colors. So with all the vibrations and all the oscillations, this all come back in your mind and give you a surreal experience. That is the actual real world that create this world. With this world being a virtual reality of the real world that's inside of you. That's why I always say, go within. I'm inside of you. I'm inside the Father, and the Father is in you. Everything is inward. To make this reality, a cell had to implode itself. It didn't come out. So we can't look for those things, because this is not the real world. Now, just keeping it going, I forgot now. I don't want to lose track about the difference between the seraphim, because next, also to keep it real, everything with the seraphims is serpent. So you understand what the serpent is, the dragon. Those is all seraphim creatures. So that's why you see the first thing that come up in the garden is the serpent, which gave us knowledge and everything. You know, it's about evolving. I'm pretty sure that we got it as that was bad, and it was only supposed to be two people here in the world forever. Forever. Two. Just us two. No. Stop. God made himself to evolve. He made Adam so he could evolve, and be happy and multiply means to go and have sex and do what you have to do. But that's not the topic. But anyway, what I'm saying now, the first thing to come was that snake. The same thing when Moses goes and throw down his staff, they tell him to look at the snake or whatever. Then you look at when he's in the desert with the Israelites, he tells them to put up the bronze snake and they will all be healed. It's the same story, you understand? So the snake is Kundalini. Everybody's telling you about Kundalini, but they're telling it in a sneaky way, so you won't get it, you know. So I just want you to understand that the snake is the most important. That's why you see it on this Kadua sign and the symbol for health, you know. But it's not the one that you see riding around in the physical world. Please don't equate that one to anything we're talking about. This snake is an ethereal snake, an astral snake. It don't come to the earth. It ain't connected with the snake. Them two ain't connected. Because I never saw a snake, but I seen the ethereal snake. I seen the snakes that's on the with the beings that come to us. I seen that. I don't see them on no snake though. So I'm just letting you know. So, anyways, after that comes the part, and if you also want to look, every time, like in the Book of Daniel, they tell you to make not even the Book of Daniel. I think this is Exodus when he builds the Ark of the Covenant and all that. Remember now, when he built it, he told him to put the winged serpents right on top of the covenant, and when you want to see him, they had to open their wings. When they open their wings, he'll appear. So all of this ties in. You see in the Egyptian symbols, they got the wings, the serpent. Even Isis has wings. So that's where we come from. That's the dragon. You hear the first constellation is Draco, dragon. You understand why is that? That's not coincidence. Everything is real. The toughest people in the world is the reptilians. That's the same thing. These same seraphims. So after the seraphims, then you got the floor ones, the ones that guards the lower dimensions down here. They're the ones actually that I think they had sex with human beings, because they're the ones next, which is the half human, half winged gargoyle looking things. Beasts. You know, beasts from X-Men's? Those is cherubims. You understand? Those type of beings. Lilith, cherubium. Alright? Now, after them, you got the angels, the angelic ones. And I don't know, them probably from God messing around with all them beings and created that. That's a different thing. Then from the angels, now you got the demons. And the demons, that's every religion, every culture that we believe in, the whole chakra system and us. We come from the demon line. Our parents is the demon. But the parents of the demon is the angels. Your job in the chakra system is to make the circles, or to untie your knot, which will lead you to the demion, the demons. The demons is now also known as chakras. Each one of them, they change in the light. Once they change in the light, they also now make a connection to your soul, because your soul can't touch your body. Your soul is in your body as an ethereal energy that works in the psychic system. But when it comes over you, when you open your crown chakra, it can't touch matter. Matter can't touch ether. Psychic and non-psychic people, the same thing. Them two don't understand each other. That's why you run and go pay them to see those other worlds. You understand? So it's the same concept. The soul can't touch the body, can't see the body, they don't see matter. You know, so it hovers over. It's the next it can see is the demions, the demons or whatever. So the demions is doing it. Now, just to get it correct now, demions or demons, the proper term is demion. If you look it up, it was first made up and coined by the Greeks, and those was actual guardian angel, higher beings. They're the closest to us. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why we see them floating around. We call them, you know, good and bad ones, all this other stuff. That's because that's how they work. Now, all of us, like I said, the gods is the forces that overshadow us. They are the ones now that actually influence you with jealousy, hate, your passion and will want to do things, and just your expectations. All of these is forces. You know, sit down sometime, and if you do yoga and don't do nothing, it will make you relieve yourself of all those passions, desires, hates, and you will see them leave you. Sometimes you actually close your eyes and look straight ahead. You actually see their ghost image or whatever, because they're there. When you was coming here as a soul, you had to pass through those like bandwidths to come down here. So it's like you acquired them, you contracted them like a disease or a sickness, but not in the way you think. It's a cell, the prokaryotic cell that falls straight down. As it's coming down now, it picks up through the zodiac all the different attributes of the characteristics of them, which is them. They control the zodiac. So you have that as what you call an aura. You can't see it, but you have an aura. Dogs, animals see it, and that's the different colors with your aura, where you have also a life and a possibility of in there. Now, being that it's an aura, this is what's crazy about it. It's a magnetic field. Now, if you know the Earth magnetic field or the Earth's atmosphere, We throwing millions upon billions of different signals, from cell phone signals to Wi-Fi signals, to Bluetooth signal, GPS signal, you name it. Probably other secret signals we don't know about, CERN and them use. And this place keep everything organized, and it's not destroying the earth like we blowing up or something, or at least we don't know at this present moment. But it's the same way you have that magnetic field in your aura, so it got everything in it. It's from the beginning of creation to all right this second, and the future too. All probabilities is already pre-loaded in your aura, and so that's why you have the mysticism of the Jewish people. They call them the Hekalots. They always had their way of trying to do mysticism by actually using their macabre to make themselves go to different places. So they learned the actual science from the Egyptians. You know, it's very important to understand we can't use the stories of Moses and all this other funny stuff. You understand? This is just about yourself. You're the guy. Like when you're talking about Moses, Moses is just you. It's a story about you. Mos means son. That would just mean son, and es would have been el, son of El. That's it, like Ramses, it's son of Ram, or every time you see mes, if you look it up, and I think Zachariah Stitchian was one of the ones that brought that to him. Mose, like topmost and all them. It just means son of. So you can't equate him as a physical person. That was just an analogy that messed people's head up. So the actual story is just telling you about two places in yourself. Egypt is the material side of you, the lower self, and then you got the promised land. The promised land is your higher self. And so you took yourself, the Israelites, to the promised land by finding your soul. That's all it was about. But for you to do it, you had to rebirth, reincarnate yourself. So for you to rebirth and reincarnate yourself, you have to kill yourself and die. So Moses died, and Joshua, or what we call Jesus, took him to the promised land. He made it to the promised land. That's what you're here to do. If you watch all movies, that's what it's about, an internal fight within themselves. You see it as two people fighting it out, but they don't. And at the end, they go to the promised land. It's the only thing written in our matrix. The only thing we could do in a movie. You understand what I'm saying? And that's all we want. All of us, they give us our hopes and our desire. We all desire to be in the bosom of God, and the oneness of being in rest and at peace and at full. So that's what that's about. So now you understand why the wind blow, why the luminaries was being shown to Enoch. He had to show it to them because they're the actual peoples that make everything hold itself in place. You know, it's an excellent book by, I think his name is Richard Bain, and it's called the Lost Scroll of Solomon. Man, it's good because a demon tells a story in there. You understand? And he sits down with dude, and they have a long talk, and he explained the whole God system to him, hierarchy of the angels, the demons, the seraphim. And in it, the good thing about it is, like, as you read it, I've been through that experience before. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing everything as I'm reading it. So I could explain it to you and tell you, yes, it's real. I'm not telling you because it's a good story, or I didn't even read it in full. Those important parts was important to me that I think a lot of us will overlook if we never experienced it and just, oh, this is good mythology. But if you from there, you see it, or you've been compelled into a vision into there, you understand everything he's saying. And so that's how I want you to know the gods exist. The forces you feel, you can overcome them, because you're not supposed to feel nothing. You're just consciousness. So all the forces overcome them. Once you get that nirvana feeling, then you know you don't have no demons acting up on you, and you yourself. And then they're going to assist you in coming out your body. The body don't belong to nobody. That's going to stay here, and decay is going to take it. Goes back to them. They eat off of that. But for now, your journey is to learn how to leave it. Don't be in it when it's being decayed. You be still stuck here, reincarnated. You know, that's the reason they didn't teach us the system that I'm trying to explain to you. So, one thing is the hardest part. We can't name the gods. Not at this stage for me. You know, I learned that because when I was going through the journey, I was like, who are you? What's your name? And like I said, they always say pick a name. Then you learn. As I got to higher levels, you get banned for asking questions. If you don't belong there, if you belong there, there's no questions to ask. If you don't belong there, you ask a question, you got to go. You don't belong there. And so, in my journey, I learned not to ask no questions, not to have no fear, to be fearless. And so, you get to see and do a lot of different things. You can't ask who's who. That's it. You just got to give respect to them. You know how you give respect to them? By knowing who they are. You have a visual to see. Could you see them? You know, when you can see them, you can say the knot on your chakra from your eye to your mind and your brain is actually connected. You got perception there, and that's when you be able to see these things. At first, it's scary. Everywhere you look, the wall would look like it's turning into faces, and the background, everything here is faces. Everything is faces. Everything is faces. That's all you're gonna see is faces. It's connected now. Because that's what is making everything run on a subtle level, the subtle energy. When they say you be able to see energy, that's what they meant. If anyone you read that goes into that world, they see eyes, they see faces. That's all they're going to tell you they see first. So those is the energies you're going to go by of the demions that we call this energy, or electricity, magnetics. That's what you're feeling. But these is the forces that act up on you. You know, so I don't want to give y'all no pseudo version of the God story. I know people want to know who's Heru, who's Isis, what's this. Y'all put y'all equations to it now, but remember, it's like one is the same one today as it was yesterday. It's just a name change. It doesn't matter how you look at it. They're all the same one God. All right, so you got many personifications, but you got to know them. Do not get it twisted and just think about him alone. That's what this is about. But the important thing is you don't need to know the name, and don't know the name because you might be calling up on something that was a setup in the words, how they put it. You know, like Horus. Horus or Hor just means sun. It's the sun. That's you. You can't call up on Horus and look for Horus. Let me teach you. That's why I did that video called Sun. The real name would have been Hor, H-O-R, well, meaning the original reason why the Gnostics and the Christians call themselves the Son, or Jesus the Son. He's not the Son as y'all think. It's the higher self. The higher self is always the Son. So once you get in your higher self, you become the Son. So it was a lot of people who was considered the Son. That's why they say in Galatians and all the other books, you're the Son. It's not for just a man. It goes for a woman too. Anybody who makes it up there becomes the Son. You under the sun. You under the wing now. You're being Son. Straight up like how it is. It's funny how they always knew. It's like you do that move and you know what it is, Son. And that's how he was walking around with you like this, sunning you. So Hor, H-O-R, or Horus means sun. That's all it means. Do the math up on it, you'll see it and you look. And that was where they took it from and got it and translated it and put it in our book as sun too. But that's the true meaning. So don't be calling up them names and not knowing what exactly they mean. Like Isis is just love, nature. The whole capacity of the matrix, like all of our women's out here that's in the struggle, that's trying to help, is encompassing the Isis energy, meaning the negative and the positive, but staying positive within it. You understand? That's the Isis energy. So it's not actually nobody that you could say is Isis and you can't put a face to it as we do. Your face will be the face for Isis. And the energy of what you do, the force that act upon you, is the force of Isis is acting out. Alright, this is going on long enough, but I wanted you to understand what it is to honor the gods. It's nothing pagan. They never was pagan. They just understood something greater. University of Conscious Science. No love.